The troll is the principal enemy of the social community manager. And they also defined the troll as a normal person plus anonymity plus audience. That means terrible person. This is not my definition. It is the definition of Harper Reed, that is a very important guru of social media, because he is the man who created all the social media campaigns of the second electoral campaign of Obama. So I invite you to search Harper Reed on the web and read something, and also see his face, because you know that he's not the typical manager of information technology. He's very, very creative. And you know that during the second campaign for Obama, he experienced the contact with many of these specific characters, the troll. I think that every one of us using social media could meet a troll. But I always want to say something. I also want to say something. I think that, answering to Dragos, that in every one of us there is a troll. There is a person that goes online in order to create confusion or create debate or say something. You will see now a list of different profile of trolls. It's very interesting because it's probably that we could act or we could perceive someone that wants to have a conversation in a very strong way, in a very conflictual way, like something that we can call inadvertent trolls. People just having a bad day and say something without thinking how that may appear to others. It's good. It is a troll? No, but we can perceive him as a troll. If you think to this situation, and if you have direct contact with public, for example, you can experience similar situation in everyday and real environment. Contact. People are angry. not the one to eat. They have had a very bad day, and they attack you. They say something bad, and you are in a bad condition and answer in a bad way, and this creates conflict. This could be when there is an inadvertent trolls. This is the reason why you have always to be aware that there is always people that want to attack you because they are unsatisfied with your post, with your tweet, with your picture on Pinterest. So you have to count from 1 to 10 and then ask. You have to create an active listening, or you have to prepare a second answer when you say, pardon, excuse me, I have understood something else. You can understand if someone is a troll or not from the discussion. In this case, there are different strategies. There are, and we will see these in the next slide, but we remain on this for the moment, that if the trolls say something but don't ask anything, you can not answer to him and not create conflict. But if he asks something, you have to create a discussion and to be more active listening in order to control and to understand if it is a professional troll or not. you will see other figure of troll, the pseudo-naive troll, the people who ask stupid questions to see who rise debate. Things, for example, to people that goes in the social media of politicians or of international organization that could be attacked from ideological position. They create a strange question. They ask something that is very stupid, and you can answer with superficial or sufficient attitude, and this creates a problem. There are the evangelists, the people that try to provoke you, the iconoclast, people that want to act in your community in order to convince other people that they are the true flame trolls, and these are the typical person that in the past make the call-in show at the radio and call in order to offend, abuse, and so on and on and on. They are offensive, they are menacing, they want to inflame the discussion, create problem. The cyberstalker are a big problem, for example, for famous people. Not only in reality, you know, the fan, like, for example, what happened to John Lennon, that was killed for someone that was acting as a film character. And the cyberbullies that are related to those particular situations, for example, in the classroom and so on and on, and there are unfortunately many examples of this. And the shock trolls, that are people that post violent or terrible images. And the posthumous trolls, this is a very bad category that point their attention on people that has lost their parents and say something very terrible against them. All these profiles are related to some psychological pathologies. They have the correspondence in the real world. Stalkers can also use the phone. Stalkers can wait you under your house. The bullies could act in the classroom. But when you deal in the virtual environment, you have the question of the anonymity. That is fundamental. When you work on the social media, you can find a profile with name of, I don't know, Peppa Pig, the name of a cartoon for little kids. And you think that they are fake, or they are a way in which people preserve their identity. They could create some troubles, but not so many as people that create a perfect profile with name, family name, age, friends, and so on. Because Peppa Pig could joke, may create some joke or create a funny environment. People that create a specific identity that is very similar to a real identity act in a conscious way of doing something wrong or belong to one of these profiles. It responds to a personal needs. And this could be very, very dangerous, not only for the organization, but also at the personal level. So it's better not to engage directly with them, because you can inflame their feeling and their action, and you have to talk to them. You have to understand the psychology of the internet troll. One of the first element of the internet troll is the individuation. And this is the differences between real interaction and virtual interaction. In the social media environment, people reduce the sense of our own identity. We don't put our face in the contest. And so we are less likely to stick to social norms. This is a very fundamental element that you have to deal with if you are a community manager. You have to deal with if you are the parents of young kids that use social media. You have to keep in mind every time you use social media. People, if they are part of a large crowd, lose their sense of identity and create this problem. And this is what happened, for example, when the social media reach many followers or many likers. The more is bigger the community, the more people find themselves comfortable in say something of disrupting, act like they were disrupt someone else. In this sense, there are strong differences between real human interaction and virtual human interaction. The social psychologist Nicholas Epley say that if we are distant from the person we are talking to and less focused on our own identity, we are more prone to aggressive behavior. This happens, for example, not only in the social media, but also in the email. This was perceived, for example, by Google, that during a period, make an experiment. If you write a mail during the night, at the end of this mail, when you click on send, they ask to you if you are sure that you want to send this email. Because during the night and in front of your laptop, in front of your iPad, in front of your cell phone, you are less likely to stick to social norms. And so you can write to your boss, say something that you cannot say during the day in your office. You can write to your lover, say something that you don't say when you're in front of him. But you have written, and as we have seen before, scripta manent, verba volant. The words flying, what you have written, remain for all your life. The anonymity creates a sense of protection and allows people to act like they are other people. This is what we call dissociative anonymity. What do you think about using anonymity only to protect identity and family and not necessarily as a cover for our judgment flaws? It is related to what I've said. One thing is to use, the name the name and the image of your favorite cartoon in order to use Facebook without exposing yourself to the other. I completely understand people that doesn't want to publish picture of their children or their picture because they don't want to give many information. And it's true, it's a kind of anonymity, but it's very difficult also in this case to maintain the anonymity. If you want to remain anonymous in social media, you have not to use social media. if you want to use social media, you can imagine to protect yourself. But you must be aware of the fact that someone else could enter your profile and act as a troll, take some pictures, take some sentence in order to use for other goals, and so on. Another aspect of the trolls, or of the people that want to create a problem to your social media, the asynchronicity. The famous sentence, "see you later." It's easier for someone to throw their opinion out and then leave the discussion. A person can make a single post that might be considered very personal, emotionally strong, inflammatory, and then run away. And people can discuss in the comment, create a very incredible environment. And if you do this with a strategy, you can put this post. People that follow you can react in the comment, and then you can say, "I was sleeping. I don't know what you are saying, but I have created problem to people that I mentioned in the post," for example. This happened in Italy with the spoken woman of our chamber, political chamber, that was attacked by another political party with a post during the night. The day after, this political party cancelled the post that was considered offensive, above all in the comment of people that follow this Facebook page, saying, "We were sleeping," but they have created an attention and created an environment in which many flame trolls, even if not directly involved in this Facebook page, take off all their bad feelings, all their accusation, all their offensive attitude, and so on. You can read in this slide that this feeling that virtual is not real and that everything is in my head. This happens also with the real stalker, the real bullies, the real people that want to contest menace, inflame, and so on and on and on and on at the political level, personal level, and so on. But in the specific field of social media, the leaking of any kind of visual face-to-face create an environment in which every one of us will assign characteristic and traits to a person. This is very important. When we don't see, we make a projection of our ideas on the other person. This, for example, happen, and we come back to the question about the feeling in internet, about people that fall in love in the chat, in the Facebook, yeah, following Twitter, no? Because you know that you are not real. I show you only a little part of me, sometimes the best one. There are people that goes to the professional photographer in order to have picture to put on social media. I create this situation so I don't fall in love with a real person. What is the image I have of this person? The same things could happen in the contrary. I can hate someone because I need someone to hate. So this introduction is very, very complicated. our desires, needs, and wishes are put on the other person. So you can see when someone asks me if social media can help us to better understand. Yes, but if we have psychological tools in order to understand. If we are not aware of the psychological aspect of this kind of interaction, it could only inflame, it could only amplify the pathology, because it is a protected environment. So, you see how many interesting elements and important if you must to consider when you are using a social media. I don't want to create fear about social media, but I want to create awareness of the impact and the importance of social media. Trolling can be frustrated if users correctly interpret and intend to troll, but are not provoked into respond. What does it mean? It is related to better understand what people are saying. With another question, you can understand if someone is trolling or only has a bad days. You have to create an environment in which there are no discussion open with the troll. Trolling can be thwarted if users correctly interpret and intend to troll, but counter in such a way as to curtail or neutralize the success of the trolled. If you counter, you answer in such a way as to curtail or neutralize the success of the trolled, this could be a step beyond. When you have created a good community into your social media, for example, the troll can be thwarted, can be controlled by all the members of the community. The problem is when the troll is followed by some people in the community. You can't control the troll if your message is clear. And so other people can answer to the troll in order to reinforce your message. If you are part of an organization and the troll attack in very continuous way your organization, you have 4, 5, 6 master messages that you have used in your post, in your communication strategy, that people that follow your social media can use in order to calm the troll. If the community share this vision, the community is the best antidote to the troll. The trolling fail if users correctly interpret and intend to troll and are not provoked by the troller. This is very important and is related to the identity of the community manager. This could happen if you are managing a personal page and you can be touched in your feeling. Above all, if this happens to an organization. Some troll attack the manager in order to reach the organization. And if the manager failed the organization. These are not perfect strategy because there is the human factor. You have to exercise yourself. You have to be always aware of all these aspects. You have not to be too much aware because the extremely awareness can stop you from acting. But anyway, you have to think to all these elements. You will see this slide that is related to a system of management of the trolls. I don't think that is the only way to deal, but you can use this guide that is created by a private enterprise inbound marketing that is a private association that you can find on internet. But you can find many different strategies, as you can find many different approach to negotiation, for example. You know that there are so many different schools of negotiation, from Harvard to the Latin one, and so on and on and on and on. You can choose, put in your specific context, relating to your specific goals, the way that is better for you. But there is no a perfect system of management. This is the way, this is the reason why I always talk about awareness and put in the specific context. I think that we often forget that social media are instruments. We always talk about social media as they have power to do something. I don't think so. I think that before this, the most important thing is the human factor. The more we understand other people, the more we use we use interpersonal communication, the more we can be effective with our communication on social media. This is very,